It's said a lot that Halo 1 innovated console FPS games. Well, Halo Combat Evolved defined an entire generation of console gaming and planted the seeds for one of the greatest video game franchises of all time. Playing the original release now, some are underwhelmed with the experience, but many believe that it has stood the test of time. With this in mind, and with Halo the Master Chief Collection, we take a look at the top 5 reasons why the first Halo and how the first Halo changed the face of gaming forever. At number 5, we start with artificial intelligence. FPS games that had been released prior to 2001 presented a lack of difficulty, and the enemy types were generic with predictable patterns of movement. Now, when Halo Combat Evolved arrived, this changed. It all changed. Foes would react to different situations in different ways, and the elites would charge aggressively if they had the upper hand in a firefight. The grunts would disperse in a wild panic if their patrol leader was killed in action. Even the simple things we collectively take for granted today, such as diving out of the way of a vehicle, displayed incredibly sophisticated programming at that time in 2001. This programming was also complicated by the addition of scaled difficulty levels. Easy mode saw opponents cower and flee with no fight in them, but Legendary unforgivably persecuted the player into submission time after time, which is best summarized by the in-game description offered by Bungie. You face opponents who have never known defeat, who laugh in alien tongues at your efforts to survive. This is suicide. At number 4, vehicle integration. Contemporary first-person shooters of the time were playing run-and-gun games. You went from point A to point B on foot while trying to shoot enemies to reach the end of the mission. Halo Combat Evolved reinvented this structure by allowing limited exploration on the linear path through the inclusion of vehicles. This opportunity offered players a varied approach to strategy and progression, especially with different levels of difficulty. The key elements of this successful incorporation were the programming decisions behind them. The vehicles were easy to access and operate for players, and the third-person view offered a sense of immersion whilst providing a change from the usual perspective of Chief's visor. At number 3, outstanding graphics. For the younger Halo fans, this may be a difficult thing to imagine. However, when Halo Combat Evolved released in 2001, the graphics engine was a masterpiece. Stepping out of the drop pod at the start of the second mission, our first introduction to Halo, was a breathtaking moment 13 years ago. The grass was the most realistic scene in any game of the time, and the Halo ring stretching out into the sky has remained an image imprinted onto the minds of many Halo enthusiasts. It wasn't just the beauty that Halo Combat Evolved got right, but also the beast. The fear of first meeting the Flood and finding them, and claustrophobic corridors that enveloped the player was terrifying. With the release of the subsequent Halo games and the evolution in technology, the graphics have definitely aged, but the Anniversary Edition faithfully remastered them into modern day in the new 1080p/60 frames per second, coupled with the new lighting system, will do no harm to this classic, and hasn't so far. At number 2, LAN multiplayer and split-screen play. A surprise for some at the number 2 spot is the impeccable split-screen offering the ability to play over a local area network, known as LAN. For many of those who played Halo Combat Evolved, this would have been a definite number 1 reason, but it is important to point out that the Golden Eye did offer a very popular split-screen experience 4 years before the release of Halo, even if it lacked the wide range of customization options that Halo offered. Despite this, the private match function was welcome in Halo CE for settling scores with friends from the comfort of your own sofa. This was further enhanced by the now famous LAN parties. Completing in local tournaments became a massive thing and set the foundations for the emergence of esports. In IGN's podcast Unlocked with Matt Hoberman, he comments that Halo CE inspired the creation of the Halo 2 party system, and that he tried to recreate the atmosphere of playing against your friends in your basement, garage, or living room, but over the new Xbox Live service. This party system helped create one of the best multiplayer suites in gaming history, and this was due to no small part of the LAN legacy that the first Halo game provided. At number 1, the control system. The main reason Halo CE innovated the FPS genre on consoles was because it worked for consoles. The modern twin-stick control system was revolutionary, to say the least. FPS games on console that had come before used the same stick to move and aim. It's a confusing concept, but Halo Combat Evolved used one stick to move the player and the other to move the crosshair around the screen. This was revolutionary, but the simple stick system wasn't the only thing that Halo redefined or changed or just made popular. Players were limited to 2 weapons, meaning that strategy had to become adopted around weapon choice and the weapons available to be picked up. The melee button was mapped individually as opposed to it being classed as a weapon. Grenades were also subject to the same treatment, being designated a dedicated button for use. All this combined made the game easily accessible for newcomers, and the control scheme was to be replicated by the majority of shooters for the foreseeable future. Well, there you have it, folks, the top 5 reasons how Halo Combat Evolved innovated the FPS genre for consoles. Do you agree with this list? Do you disagree? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you want more content like this, top 10s and top lists, here on Tuesdays on HaloFollower, then be sure to like this video up and subscribe for more of your Halo news and entertainment. Catch you guys in the next one, and have a great day.